it is time to predict the Women's Rumble. So I went first last time with my predictions. I'm going to let you do the honors this time. Let's go ahead and reveal your predictions here on my screen. And here we go. Oh, shit. Okay, interesting. So we're going to start with your surprise. Jade Cargill makes shock return, just like surprise debut last year.
Has to, bro. It has to happen.
I do feel like it's kind of poetic that with that being where she debuted and her being out for a while, like it's just it makes sense.
Back,
yeah.
bro.
No, 100%, 100%.
That's definitely gonna be her moment where it's like we're gonna figure out what's for real.
So that was gonna be my follow up question for you: was do you think she will somehow, by like who she targets or like we'll hear her talking or something, she will somehow reveal to us
see her reaction? Yeah, basically.
who is guilty here?
I feel like she's gonna come in like mad as fuck
and go straight after somebody. And bro, when she lifts up Naomi and chucks her ass out of the ring, I'm gonna look straight at you and say I was right. If it's Candice LeRae, I might die of laughter. I'll just throw that out there. I might die of laughter. But so I do agree with you that I think Jade has to return, and I hope that we get some sort of setup going forward.
It definitely is gonna be like that.
I'm very excited to see what her Rumble appearance looks like. It could be very, very significant for everything going forward. Most eliminations, you have Nia Jax. Okay. I might have thought that you would have doubled up with Jade there, with her making that comeback, like you said, her coming in all pissed off. I wouldn't be surprised if she just kind of hulks out for a second and fucking, you know?
For how good they're like pushing Nia Jax, she's probably Fruit's gonna come and be the one to like clean house and shit like that.
I mean, it's an easy spot to put her in because obviously she has like that physical dominance over a lot of the women's roster, so it makes sense. Yeah, like I could see it. I could see it. I'm just curious because like, is that building towards anything, or are you just trying to further make Nia look like a monster?
Further make Nia look like a monster.
All right. I mean, if that's it, then fair enough. I would like to see, honestly, if we're going with your Jade Cargill coming in all pissed off. I kind of think it might be more fun if she comes in and like actually rages. Like you said, focus on someone in specific first, so we gotta get that message of like, okay, that's who fucked you over somehow. But then from there, like, just turn around and start whooping shit.
People
like,
out and shit.
I think that would be really cool, just for her to have a rage moment, and then like just that moment where she's standing by herself in the ring, finally back, fans going crazy, and then we get the 3, 2, 1, and like fucking some other big star like Charlotte or something comes out and we get to have a cool
stare down moment.
Some shit. Like, I think you could do something really cool there with that, but I digress. Into your final four here, we have Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. I legit almost said Rick. Because you just wrote Flair. I was like, Rick Flair. No, Charlotte Flair.
You're not gonna let John Cena get that one on his right.
And fucking Jade Cargill. So this is this is interesting. Walk me through who's going after who at this point, what's going on in the match at this moment in your head, in your predictions.
In my head.
Yeah, in your predictions, what are you seeing with this final four? What's going on? Like, is Jade and Bianca still homies at this point, or is it low-key sussy vibes after
I feel like
everything that happened?
I feel like if you're right with the Naomi thing, Bianca's gonna look at her shocked, but then she's gonna see that she's not targeting her and shit like that.
See, I low-key think Jay might just rush her too, because it's like, how the fuck you gonna replace me with the fucking... And she took me out? Nah, like, I feel like she might not stand for that.
We'll see. That's an interesting take.
I would want to see it personally.
Because
it'd be cool, but
the only reason why I'm saying that is because we definitely got to get some type of interaction with Charlotte Flair and fucking why am I blanking on her name?
Are you talking about Liv or Jade?
With Jade Cargill, yeah, okay. Bro. We definitely have to get an interaction between her and Flair, bro.
Yeah, no, I do think
and
that
like
that would be...
how we seen this past Raw. I guess Bianca's having some type of like beef with like Liv and fucking all them and shit like that. So
yeah,
And I feel like Liv is definitely gonna use like Raquel to like get herself there, and like fucking she's gonna of course like sneak around, use smoking tactics and shit, bro, to
Of
get herself
course,
there,
of
bro.
course, of course.
Because of course she was just champion and shit like that. She's definitely gonna, and she's still a fucking some a main eventer for the
Uh
woman shit. So
huh. So when it all boils down, I'm assuming based off how you kind of described it, you see the final two, I think, as Charlotte and Jade,
probably, honestly,
and then Jade Cargill is who you have as your winner, and she goes to challenge Rhea Bloody Ripley.
the match probably everybody wants to see him.
It's up there, I think, is I think there's a few options out there that are new for Rhea that would be really exciting, and this is definitely one of them that we haven't gotten to see yet. And I mean, when you just think about that powerhouse style that both of them have, like fuck, that definitely could be an intense, intense match. I would be curious because see, both of the matches you've pitched have gone for babyface versus babyface. And I would be interested to see how the dynamics of a WrestleMania would work out, where you've got two of your like headline championship matches is face versus face. Now you still got Gunther in the heavyweight. That obviously that'll be a different situation, I'm sure. And who knows who will be carrying the? It'll probably still be Tiffany, I guess. So, um, that could also be something a little
I think I'm
different.
seeing like heavy that
But
probably Tiffany's gonna face Charlotte
I do see that. I do see that.
as somehow.
I do see that.
Charlotte's gonna have her comeback, but she's not gonna win it yet.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised that. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I'm not mad at this. This is the Jade Rumble. You just you like Jade. You pitch a lot of Jade shit on here, which
Bro,
I
she's
know I get it. Like she's got that star quality to 100%. Like she's got that physical presence. Like she's fucking ripped as shit, bro. Like when she goes in there, it definitely. I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. But damn, bro, like I could see it, man. I could see it.
mm,
It'd be a interesting fuck you to Tony Khan. We put your star in the fucking
main event of
yeah, for real,
WrestleMania,
bro.
bro.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny. All right, let's go ahead and get into my predictions here.
Mm.
Let me pull my shit up. All right. So we'll start off with my surprise, and I kind of gave it a little bit of a triple piece as a bonus. And I also agree that your surprise is gonna happen too. I think this is the rumble of surprises. That's what I'm hoping for on the women's side. And so my triple return that I'm predicting, we will see not only Becky Lynch,
Oof,
not only Asuka,
oof,
but also Alexa Bliss.
oof,
All three will
oof,
return in the Women's Royal Rumble.
oof.
I know I'm shooting for the stars, but we've had a lot of the top level women's talent out because of injuries and other situations. I feel like if they're all ready to come back, why would you not just make this the most insane women's Royal Rumble of all time potentially and bring back all of these former champions
Yeah.
right at once? And like you said, also bring back a Jade Cargill, like do all of that shit and just make this shit absolutely unbelievable. I don't know why not. If you have it all at your disposal, which from the rumors it seems like they could potentially be possible, I don't know why you wouldn't. Because honestly, if we look at the build up between the men's and women's rumble, men's rumble was starting to get hyped up much earlier. A lot of the stars have gotten to come out and do their own individual segments, maybe getting cut off by a couple other people, but I feel like they've been a bit more
Announcing who's gonna fucking be there and shit.
careful with the buildup of the hype for the men's rumble. And the women's rumble, they literally
It's a
just
mystery,
they
bro.
did a speed run on that shit on the last
Mm-hmm.
episode of SmackDown where they just brought out every main event woman that they could get their hands on at that point that was available on Friday.
And yeah, I just said fuck it.
And they all just said, fuck it, we're gonna have a 6-woman tag match because fuck it, why not? But like that to me indicates that the buildup is either just really it kind of lazy and bad on WWE's part, or they're intentionally kind of leaving a bit of air of mystery about the women's rumble so that we go into it wondering like, well, what's gonna happen? No one's really even talked about it that much. Like, and then all of a sudden you're getting punched in the fucking face with banger after banger after banger after banger. No Sheamus though, but still lots of other cool shit. And so I don't know. I know I'm reaching for the stars. I will admit that. But why not, man? Let's do it. Let's make this a Rumble to remember. Most eliminations, this actually could have been partially a surprise as well. But it's been pretty heavily reported at this point, so I don't even think it's as much of a surprise that Jordynne Grace will be a member of the WWE roster pretty soon, coming from TNA. I think she might have already signed a contract, to be honest.
Wow.
And I think she will make her official debut on the roster in the Royal Rumble. And I think that they're going to want to build her up. So she's just got like a very physical.
You think she's really gonna come in and fucking just start?
I think that's the way to debut her. Yeah, I think she comes in.
Even after her last Rumble, she didn't really do anything, kind of.
Yes, not too much. There was a couple cool face-offs, a couple cool moments here and there, but it wasn't the biggest spot. I think because last year's was like cool, especially for wrestling nerds, but not the biggest moment. Now that she's actually a part of the roster, I think they're gonna give her a way bigger moment to really emphasize.
She's gonna be a main eventer.
And try and give her that star power off the rip for fans who aren't as familiar.
Interesting fucking shout, bro. What the fuck?
I'm excited to see.
That's an interesting take. What the fuck?
Nah, bro. I think it's definitely. I think it's more on the table than you're expecting, bro. I think it's more on the table than you're expecting. We'll see.
Never thought you would pick Jordynne Grace, bro.
I mean, I know it's not Joe Hendry, but you know, I do think that she's another one of those big up and comers. And like I said, if she's gonna be a part of the roster now, I think it makes sense. So getting into the final four, we got Charlotte, Jade, Io, and Becky. So if we're bringing all these big names back, obviously Charlotte was already announced and all this stuff. I think you at least got to have a couple of those big returning names in there to remind us how fun it is to have the new stars back. And in my opinion, Charlotte and Becky are probably the safest bets. I went back and forth between Becky and Alexa because it's been a while, but I just feel like that makes Becky Lynch is a safe bet because it's Becky Lynch.
Interesting.
Obviously, there's all the history with her and Charlotte, everything. Like it, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you're gonna be more interested when I tell you that out of those four women, I have Io Sky as the winner. Yeah.
Io Sky.
Io Sky. Let's make a star. Let's really make a star.
Wow.
Like to wrestling fans, no one, like everyone who really loves wrestling already knows that Io Sky is one of the very best on the planet in between the ropes. But I think your more casual fan might not get it as much. And you're already having so many massive names that are going to have their own storylines, their own ways to kind of find their way into the WrestleMania picture. You still got Elimination Chamber coming up, and you like with that many big names, they're already established. Even if they miss out on Mania this year, they will find themselves in the main event picture at some point. Like I'm not worried about the future of Charlotte, Jade, or Becky, anything like that. And I'm not worried about the future of Io Sky either. I just think that a Rumble win in a Rumble like this with this much star power would really elevate her. I was thinking about this earlier, that you don't necessarily have to make it the complete, like coming out at 1 or 2 like how Rey Mysterio did, but I do think that she's one of those wrestlers that bringing her out within like the top 5, top 7 super early, and then giving her that Iron Woman spot.
Yeah.
And letting her last really long and just continuing to sell throughout the whole match. Like, I feel like she would be able to build a story throughout the match of like being that underdog, and when she eventually pulls it off, it's like, holy shit, she actually did it.
That fucking wild. You're fucking saying.
I feel like it's more realistic than you might be expecting. I feel like Io would give either champion a phenomenal match. Personally, I think Io versus Rhea would be really cool. I don't even know. I think you could have Rhea win, honestly.
Wow.
But just Io, I would like to see her win, obviously. My point is that Io is so damn good in the ring that even in a loss, she never loses momentum because she never fails to impress the audience with how good her work is in the ring. And so I feel like, yeah, if you give her that big moment in the Rumble and elevate her to really feel like she truly, truly belongs to the casual fan in the conversation with the top level
Superstars.
talent. But then, like I said, you can do whatever you want with it after the fact, but just giving her that moment, I think, would really legitimize her. I don't know. I'm just a big fan of Io. I think she's really, really talented in the ring, and I feel like would give arguably the best match to either Rhea or Tiffany. Like in the ring, I think it would be the most entertaining match. Whoever wins or loses, I just think that we would get some really spectacular wrestling. And again, like I said, it's like no one else needs it that bad, but Io would really, really be elevated by winning this Royal Rumble. And so I think that's the biggest factor for me. But yeah, those are all of our predictions for the Women's Royal Rumble.
The women's were a lot more different, but the,
Yeah, well, so and I think that's all down to the way they've been built up. Like we've seen the men's rumble kind of laid out in front of us as far as who the big stars are, who the big players are, and with the women's rumble, so much of this shit is up in like Becky Lynch might not even be there, and that automatically cooks my Final Four and a whole bunch of other shit. Like there's a lot like Jade might not show up as much as we
that
think
would be
she's
fucking
going
crazy.
to. Like it's still possible. So yeah, there's a lot that the women's rumble like it could end up being really disappointing, which I hope not, but just the way they've built it up, it's either gonna be like a really awesome rumble full of a lot of great surprises, a really good match.
What would be a disappointing winner for you?
A disappointing winner. Good question. Man, that's a tough one. I guess the default answer that I know most people are gonna have on the internet, and I kind of get it, is Charlotte. I even no, no. Like I get that opinion, but no, I disagree. Maybe Becky. To be fair,
That would be a disappointing winner to you.
just cause like we've been there, done that with Becky and so much of the talent. Like she even had a feud with Tiffany Stratton down on NXT. It's like we've literally seen it with Becky in the main event of WrestleMania a lot over the last few years. It's nothing against her at all. I think she's a great worker and everything. I feel like maybe for now there could be room for some other woman to kind of freshen up the main event. And then if you let Io have like for my prediction, like if you let Io have a massive match against Rhea and like let her win that title or something, then all of a sudden you've built up a big new star that with or without the belt, that's like a new feud that Becky could have with a star at the top level that could be interesting. Like I just think maybe if we can give a bit of breathing room to let the women's main event scene create a couple new stars and just open up a new pool of opponents for people like Becky and Charlotte who have been around for so long that they've kind of wrestled all the top level women that were around for their time. You know, we're starting to get there with people like Tiffany Stratton. Jade Cargill will hopefully be elevating herself to that level soon. I want to see Io Sky up there as well as like women that are kind of new to the main event top level scene that can then give new opponents to your Charlottes, your Beckys, your Baileys, your Rheas that have all kind of been dancing around one another for the last few years, you know. We'll see. Women's Rumble has a lot riding on it, to be honest.
It's a mystery right now, bro.
It
It's
is
the
a
best part,
mystery.
low key.
That's why I'm saying. In some ways, I'm almost more excited for it because it's like, it could be just so fucking crazy if all these surprises do actually come out.
But it could also be so ass.
But it could also be so ass. God, that's fuck. That's the thing. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll see.
We'll see, Paul.
We'll fucking see.
We'll see, Paul.
Don't fuck it up.
We'll
Don't
see,
fuck it
Paul.
up.
We'll see,
We're gonna be
Paul.
watching, and we will tell you if you fucked it up.